Welcome to the Sunday Times Politics Weekly, where, as usual, we explore the big political issues of the moment. I'm Mike Siluma. Thanks for joining us. This week, we thought we should have as our special guest on the Politics Weekly the leader of the economic freedom fighters, Julius Malema. He popped in for a wide-ranging conversation with the Sunday Times Politics editor, Sibongabonke Shoba. This is how their chat went.
You asked Mr. Ramaphosa to sit down first. I'm standing.
I warn you.
I need to put on my big girl panties and keep going.
You can't have two speakers standing at the same time.
Security services of the Republic of South Africa, you may intervene.
There's been several attempts on my life.
Lower that hand on
it's not allowed. The president is accused of serious crimes. You can't be addressed by a person like this. That's not honorable house.
In order to pursue the greater good, you have to enable some people to eat a little bit.
Corrupt people do not eat alone. They have a spider web.
I now suspend the proceedings. I have warned you.
Mr. Malema, thank you so much for agreeing to join us this afternoon.
Yeah.
It's a big year for the EFF. You guys are turning 10. Mm-hmm. Looking back, man, during the time when you were expelled from the ANC, did you think that the EFF will grow and last for this long?
Yes, thank you for having me. I think when we started, we were aware that we'll sustain the movement through discipline and through respect for each other and unnecessary contestation. But it surpassed our expectation. Because remember in 2014, when we were contesting first elections, we were polled at between 1% to 3%. We got 6%, and the next elections we increased to 10%. We hope to increase now. So, I mean, when we had a discussion with Floyd, it was like 1 or 2 seats in parliament so we can get ourselves back on the table to agitate for economic freedom. And we got more than that. Yeah.
How difficult was the decision to form your own party? Remember the time when you were having problems in the ANC, you kept on saying, my blood is black, green and gold, you will never leave the ANC, and you got expelled. How difficult was that decision to take, to say I'm forming?
Well, it was not an easy decision. I've been ANC all my life, and it was like you are denouncing yourself and trying to become something else. I mean, my grandmother was saying to me, how does it mean we no longer vote for Mandela? Is that what it means? Because that's what she has known all her life. It was emotionally a very difficult decision to take. But what satisfied me was the plea that I've made on several attempts: leave me with the membership, take the positions. You can even suspend me from not occupying any position for the next 5 years, for the next 10 years. But let me remain a member so that I can contribute at the lowest level. Because for me, it has never been about positions. It's about being active citizen who's able to make a contribution to society in a positive way. They said no. And I'm happy you're putting it correctly. I didn't leave the ANC. I was expelled from the ANC. And I pleaded and I said my blood is black, green and gold. Even when a man was down on his knees, you still kicked him. I had no option but to find an alternative. You cannot push a man against a wall and expect him to do any other thing except to come for you. And that's what they did, and that's what I had to do in response to what they did to me.
When the EFF started around 2014, I remember we were crossing the country campaigning, and you were saying the way that it's growing, it's scary for you because you don't think you'll be able to manage such growth. How did you manage such growth, and does it still concern you the way the EFF is growing?
Well, the good thing is to balance the quantity and transfer it into quality. Because you don't want to grow the organization and then be seized with huge responsibilities, and at the same time you don't have people who are capable enough to can handle such responsibilities. So That's what was challenging. We are still growing at a very rapid speed, and I'm happy that we are beginning to attract a very important and quality people amongst our people and in the society, and that's what gives me confidence and allay my fears in terms of the growth versus quality, because the fear was that you will attract these people into voting for you, and then boom, you don't have enough quality to can handle the state.
Do you have estimated figures now, membership, where you are?
No, it's more than 1 million members of the EFF, and I always say to journalists, it's a verifiable number. It is in the membership system. The cards have been printed and delivered to the people, and Sunday Times is well within its right to come and say, okay, we want to bring our IT specialist and check if these people are there and they're authentic and anything of that sort. So quantitative number of 1 million plus and in possession of membership cards and still growing. And we have no less than 4,000 launched branches of the EFF in South Africa.
Do you have an idea of where are your strongholds?
Our strongholds is at the inland. We're doing well in Free State, which Free State came very late because we're struggling a lot in Free State. The second province that was not performing to expectation in the inland was Mpumalanga, which came to the party not so satisfactory, but they are there and they are showing a lot of commitment and growth. And then will be followed by Northwest, and then followed by Limpopo, and then Gauteng number 1. We got a shock of our life in 2021, where we got crazy numbers from KZN, not expected. And when the counting was happening in the 2021, we met our previous 2016 number. And then the SG said to me, we're going to pass it with this number. And then we went past the number, and he kept on putting higher numbers. And I said, you are unreasonable. It's not going to happen. We kept on passing it. And we're all like, where do these numbers come from? So I can safely say that the EFF has found a very comfortable home in KwaZulu-Natal. And even now, it is continuing to grow in a very unexpected way in that province. Then Eastern Cape and then Western Cape last.
Do you know what causes that, this sudden growth of the EFF?
There is a huge political dissatisfaction in KZN about the ANC.
Yes.
And the caliber of cadreship and leadership that the ANC has produced. It makes Sitlesigalala look like he's one of the best. Because if you look at what you have now and you look at Sitle, you're like, I don't think this is what would actually take them anywhere. But it's good for me, and I have no reason to complain. So we need to maximize on that. But we also need to infiltrate the North and not allow the growth of the IFP, because it has now taken a decision to marry the DA. Now, the problem is that the IFP voters, when they are angry with the IFP, they don't vote for anyone. So they formed a party at the time called the NFP, and then when the NFP failed, they went back to the IFP. So that poses a new challenge now, where we have to infiltrate the IFP base and neutralize it, so that whatever the number the IFP gets, it's not able to merge with the DA, and thus the two of them constitute a government in KZN.
Yes.
It will be a serious miscarriage of history, which will not be allowed. But the EFF leadership is committed.
Yeah.
Huge temptation by the IFP to infiltrate the EFF especially in the north, and neutralize it, at times even corrupt it. Give it jobs offers, give it money offers, and all of that. It's a contested terrain. We have no reason to complain, but I'm happy, and I'm going there Friday. I'll be in KZN, so I'll get out on Sunday. So it's one province that when you go, you get very excited because you can see the kind of effort we've put in. Look, these by-elections do not mean anything to us as the EFF. In the EFF, we contest all the by-elections because they are a training ground. So a lot of our members and leaders, to a particular extent, they are new in politics. So you give them that opportunity to be trained practically, not theoretically, practical on how do you contest the ward, how do you contest the elections, what is needed in the elections. And then they go in with the heart and mind and soul, and then they get beaten and defeated. Then they have to come back and say, what is it that we have done wrong? And then they are given an opportunity to correct that even before the national elections. So we are happy with our presence in KZN.
I like that you are talking about the working relations with political parties. We're going to come to the issue of coalitions now. But when you came in 2014, the first elections that you contested, EFF positioned itself and claimed that it was a government in waiting.
Yes.
How is that going, and how far are you from achieving that?
We're a government. We're no longer a government in waiting. We're a government in KwaZulu-Natal and eThekwini, responsible for infrastructure. I was looking at FNB today and looking at Moses Mabhida, and I was like, Moses Mabhida is managed by the city, and it is not anywhere close to what FNB looks like. And it looks like Moses Mabhida falls under the EFF. So we may want to tap on some beautiful experiences in FNB and improve Moses Mabhida. It has got a huge potential, both as a sports facility, but as a tourist attraction as well. We are government in Ekurhuleni, responsible for half of that municipality, finance, electricity, water, and things like that. So we ought to do things differently and make sure that our people get services. Mogale City, West Rand, including Johannesburg, by the way, we are responsible for public safety and health. That's why when you leave this building, there's no way you can't find Metropolis in any corner. It's because of the type of activism that we've brought into governance as the EFF. All of this is being used as a preparation and training ground for a total takeover in 2024. So we in a way, we're no longer government in waiting. We are government.
But how has EFF public representatives performed since they took over positions in government?
It will be too quick for me to pass judgment. Every Monday, especially the MMCs, are required to file a written report of what have they done this week and how have they impacted positively in the lives of our people, and where we are not happy, we're able to make agent and weekly interventions with regard to that. So far, so good. A superstar for me is the Speaker of Ekurhuleni, who understand that being a speaker is not just chairing a council meeting, but you have a responsibility to serve the people. And she's forever very responsive on social media, very responsive on the ground, a female cadre who loves and she's so committed to driving a change agenda. And I'm like, if all of them could just be inspired by her and want to be like her, we'll have this government being a better government. So I'm happy with what our leaders are doing.
2016, after the local government elections, the EFF made certain demands to political parties who wanted to enter into coalition with the EFF. And as a result, the ANC was left out in the cold in different metros. But now we see the EFF is now in government and in says form alliances with the ANC. What has changed? What has changed in the EFF strategy?
We are not in any coalition, number one. Even in 2016, we have not been in coalition because there's been no agreement to the fundamental, non-negotiable cardinal pillars of the EFF. What has changed now is that we voted for different mayors. And those mayors are the ones who invited the EFF into government. We are not in government invited by the ANC. We don't serve at the behest and the invitation of the ANC. We are serving because mayors of other political parties have invited us. So we're happy. If the ANC messes up, we take them head on. We even speak publicly against them, yet we serve in the same executive because we are not in alliance. We are not in coalition. We are all invited knowing that we hold different political opinions. And that's the good thing and the beautiful thing about what we have now. Nothing binds us to anyone. We remain independent and we remain robust and continue to expose corruption. That's why we entered Ikuruleni, expose corruption on the billboards that the city is generating almost 100 million plus instead of generating 600 million. There are a lot of illegal billboards that are going on and the money is not even coming to the city, goes into the pockets of individuals. The trucks, waste trucks are missing. So much number is on the register. But so much has been found. The rest, we don't know where it is. The ANC jumped and said, people who are in cabinet with us, they can't talk like that. We said, no ways, we don't care. The being in cabinet with you does not mean a cover-up for corruption. Yes.
When we started this discussion, you said when the ANC chased you away and now you are coming for them. And the EFF is largely responsible for the decline of the ANC in the past elections. And now we're going to 2024 and the opposition parties are coming together with a view of getting rid of the ANC. Will the EFF be assisting the opposition parties to get rid of the ANC, or will the EFF assist the ANC to retain power in 2024?
No, but your analysis is wrong. They are coming together to get rid of the EFF and the ANC. And they've not made it a secret. They said, let's come together. And they've isolated the EFF and they said they don't want the EFF. The first choice to work with is the opposition. We've always done that. And we've always done that not in exchange for positions, but in exchange for good governance and for accountable government and for the delivery of services to our people. So when people just wake up one morning and declare you number one enemy, when without giving you a benefit of doubt and say, okay, come, let's engage on this or that issue, we don't seem to be seeing things the same way. Remember, these are the people we give power to. We gave the municipalities to. They have no reason to doubt us. We never asked in exchange for a tender, for a position, for anything. Mashaba makes that point very clear every time he's given an opportunity. That I've never, when I was a mayor, had a discussion or an encounter with the EFF where they asked for anything from me or even tenders. It is the DA that came asking for tenders from me. So these are the kind of people you have been dealing with in the municipality. And then you wake up one morning, you say they are the enemies. So ANC is not our preferred cup of tea. But the circumstances that puts us with the ANC together and say these two must be killed, we cannot then push ourselves to people who don't want us. We prefer the opposition. We want to work with the opposition. We've given our votes to the opposition before. And I don't understand why, where does this come from? Where now people just say, no, we don't want them.
Is the door still open?
Our door is open. We will work with the DA, will work with all the opposition parties. If they come to the party and say, let's build a solid government that is based in the interest of fighting corruption and defeating high levels of unemployment and poverty in our society through the distribution and ownership of the land and strategic sectors of the economy. That discussion is not taking place. And not because the EFF doesn't want. The EFF has always...
Have you approached Steenhuisen to say...
No, I can't. You can't wake up one morning and say, that's an enemy, and then whatever we do, not even the ANC is the enemy. No, the DA is actually discussing a possibility of forming a coalition with the ANC. Anything but the EFF.
Yes.
So I've not done anything to anyone. I've got ideological views and positions that I hold. But I'm not aloof to the dynamics in the country, and I've got an open door policy to engage, and I've done so before. But when I'm being called an enemy, and even people who declare me enemy, I keep giving them votes, and then the day I decide I've had enough, I'm the problem. Those people are not the problem. No one says to them, but he has been so kind to you. Why do you treat him the way you are treating him?
Why do you think he's treating you that way?
It's the Oppenheimers. They don't like the EFF because the Oppenheimers give money to all political parties in South Africa, except the EFF. And therefore, they are unable to control the EFF. As a result, they say, DA, whatever you do, this ones must never be an option. 2, the DA internal research has confirmed that the EFF is going to pass you. The numbers are growing and your numbers are declining. Before Ipsos released the results, the latest results, the much earlier year, in the year, they released DA at 16% and then EFF at 13%. The latest says EFF hasn't moved, it's still at 13%, the DA is 14%. So the DA results are actually worse than that. And they know that whatever happens, these ones can pass us. And Oppenheimer makes that point very clear to them. So what do? They stop fighting the ANC because you must now fight for position number 1. They're like, while we're concentrating there, here's a person. They make a U-turn to look at the EFF and say the EFF is the enemy, not the ruling party. Where have you ever had such a thing? So the numbers don't look good. And as a result, the EFF must be stopped at all costs. So the whole idea is, an ANC is led by fools like Mbalula, which don't have an appreciation of what is happening. The whole idea is, EFF numbers combined with the ANC, they should not pass 50%. Yeah, so that's what they're working on, so that Oppenheimer can force the marriage of the ANC and the DA the same way they did with Mampela Rampe. After they formed her party, forced her marriage into the DA and then destroyed her. The same thing they are doing with Herman. I mean, Herman loves the EFF with everything. And every time he tweets against the EFF, I laugh alone because I know it's not him. It's not what he wants. The guy, if he had any option, he would have joined the EFF. But his funders are like, not those ones, because they've got no control over the EFF.
So it seems as if the situation that you are painting is a situation where the EFF and the ANC are being put in a corner, or maybe you can say maybe we are like being forced to work together by the DA in terms of what they are saying, because they are putting you in such a way that you are like come as a package. We are not working with the ANC and the EFF.
No, they've put us like that.
So in that situation, will the EFF ever consider maybe after the next government elections to then work with the ANC?
Will not have a problem working with the ANC. As long as the ANC concede to the demands of the EFF. We will want, more than anyone, we will want to work with the ANC. We will want the ANC to be what it used to be. It is the most, first choice you will want to have. But you ought to put very tight mechanisms in place very tight, clear program of deliverables of this must be achieved by this time. And not the ANC of Cyril Ramaphosa, because that's equal working to Oppenheimer. The reason why there is an attempt to do a forced marriage between the DA and the ANC is because Cyril is Oppenheimer and the DA it's Oppenheimer. The merging of the National Party and the DP was done by the Oppenheimers, and then now Cyril being the product of the Oppenheimers. That's why Steenhuisen or Helen Zille say, we'll not have a problem working with the ANC of Cyril Ramaphosa. I will have a problem working with the ANC of Cyril Ramaphosa because that's working with the devil straight, and that is undesirable. That's a product of the Oppenheimers. That's a tool that is being used by the Oppenheimers to reverse the gains, the little gains we've made of 1994.
So if the EFF and the ANC was to sit on the table and have a discussion about working together post 2024 elections, will that be one of the demands that Cyril Ramaphosa should not be president?
Absolutely. Why would you want to work with Cyril Ramaphosa? The guy can't take a decision about anything. And you want to kill the EFF by subjecting it to undecisive leadership, because you have to go back to your constituency and say to your constituency, look, guys, by look of things and numbers, we may have to find a way of working with these guys to achieve what we want to achieve. And they say, okay, go ahead. And then you go ahead with Cyril Ramaphosa and you come back empty-handed. That is a self-destruction and the killing of the EFF. So
which leader of the ANC, the EFF, would feel comfortable working with?
Well, it will depend. I can't choose for them who they want to put forward, but Ramaphosa is not a choice.
Because of the relations or with the Oppenheimers?
Yeah, he bought that position funded purely by white capital to capture the ANC and use it against black excellence and then use it against the gains of 1994. So it can be. Cyril must still be punished for having sold our country to the highest bidder. At the level they are stealing now, at the level they are collapsing the state-owned enterprises now, you will think that this country will not be here tomorrow.
But if Steenhuisen was to open the negotiations and open the door, would you support a situation where you have Steenhuisen as a presidential candidate?
I said to you, my preferred thing, which I did in 2016, is bring together the opposition and remove this corrupt ANC of Cyril Ramaphosa. I will do that. But if the ANC was to come with the same offer without Cyril Ramaphosa, I will go for the ANC. Yes. Because under Ramaphosa, we can achieve that. But as combined opposition, we know that we actually hold the best interest of our people at heart.
Will you work with Steenhuisen?
I gave them my votes in 2016.
So
I did.
You'd actually support a situation where Steenhuisen becomes president?
He won't be president.
So what will happen?
No, there will have to be a president consensus from the combined opposition. But Steenhuisen, no. It can't be.
Why not?
Why not? To subject our people to that metric leadership.
Yes.
It's not going to happen. That thing ended with Zuma. After that, any other thing will be to insult the people of South Africa. So we shouldn't allow that. Steenhuisen is good as a leader of the DA, but he can't lead this country. He too hates our people. Now he's fighting BEE. Now he's fighting empowerment policies, because anything black to him, like Cyril, must be suppressed. And if you put Steenhuisen a president, is the same as putting Cyril. So why? There's no need really. So, it's not automatic that when there are people meeting together in the form of opposition, then the white person who leads an opposition must become a president based on what? I'm there, I can lead them, I can be president of this country. I'm ready to be the president of this country. So why should I give it to Steenhuisen.
So
if you put Cyril here and you put Steenhuisen here and you put me here, I think I'm a better candidate.
So if we had to choose now, tomorrow, between Steenhuisen and Cyril Ramaphosa, who would you choose? Let
me abstain. It's not always an option of choosing. There's an abstaining as well.
So the EFF would rather not support it.
We've done it in 2016 in some of the municipalities. We just folded our arms. We still do the same in other municipalities where the ANC and the DA candidate doesn't make sense. We're like, don't get involved.
You recently welcomed someone that I don't think before you held him at high regard, John Steenhuisen, into the ranks of the EFF. What informed that? And he was immediately deployed to Parliament a few weeks after he joined the EFF. Is this part of some kind of a strategy of the EFF, maybe to expand its reach, maybe into the black middle class and maybe the black professionals that Jimmy Manyi used to lead?
No, and what makes me happy is that you're not a new journalist. We got along so well with Mashatile Manyi when he was the president of BMF. If you remember the debate on nationalization of mines and the banks when we were in the youth league, BMF used to support us extremely well. And as a result, me and Mashatile, we were very close. He used to invite me a lot at BMF events. And we then had differences when we left the ANC to form the EFF.
Yes.
And he remained with the ANC. And at the time when we were fighting President Zuma and the Guptas, he was on that side. But it doesn't mean there's never been a point where myself or Floyd never shared the same ideological perspectives with Mashatile. We did.
Yeah.
And there was that irritation. And I said this a long time ago, that President Zuma's issue is an irritation. It's not a strategic issue.
Yes.
That should constitute a strategic enemy. It can't be. So President Zuma was an irritation issue that we dealt with. It's done.
Yes.
And therefore, we're concentrating on our strategic opponents, which is white monopoly capital. And that opponent, even when we had an irritating disagreements with Manyi on Zuma and the Guptas, but on the strategic enemy, there's never been differences between ourselves and Manyi. Manyi, like many others, belong to a faction in the ANC called Radical Economic Transformation. They are the ones who have been advocating in the ANC the nationalization of the land, of the Reserve Bank, of the mines, of establishment of the bank, state-owned bank. So we are not far apart, but there was this irritating issue that made us disagree on, and that issue has been resolved. And that cannot be, therefore, me and Manyi cannot at some point meet like two streams that are going to meet at one river. And that river is economic transformation of our country. On that point, we've always agreed.
What another person...
And I'm happy with Manyi joining the EFF. Most of you are not observant. When we marched with these groups of political parties and all of that, I've always made sure Manyi is the MC in those events. Even when the fighters brought huge numbers, I've always said, let this guy chair. Because I always knew he's very good at articulation. He makes a very good appeal to a certain constituency. But he's a very knowledgeable person. Some of you, Mzwane is going to fight with me. He's a very knowledgeable guy if you give him time and listen to him. He worked for the state as a head of GCIS. That position requires a knowledgeable person, especially when it comes to matters of government. And he's very good at that. And you can't find such a quality and want to waste it on sitting at Winnie Mandela House. Let him go to Parliament. Let him go and face his peers. Let him expose them.
Yeah.
Because Many of those people are not even closer to what Manyi is. So I could not waste time and waste such a resource. It's a resource that is going to be beneficial to the EFF, and let it be placed at the center where it will be very meaningful and impactful. Some of us, Parliament is not our thing. We are the ground people. We want to engage with the ground and mass mobilization and agitation and all of that. Jimmy Zwanel Manyi is the kind that can pay a particular attention to detail on matters of the state. And that's why we took him back. We took him to Parliament. Another
man who was on the other side over this irritation that we were talking about is Ace Magashule.
Yeah.
He is now expelled from the ANC, like you were back in 2012. Will the EFF accept him if he was to come and say he wants to join the EFF?
I'm talking to him.
Oh, is it?
Yes, we're talking, and we're at an advanced stage of discussions. Electoral politics are politics of numbers. Yeah, very important that you talk to everyone. So I'm talking to the man. And when I'm saying I'm talking to the man, I'm saying the EFF is in an advanced engagement with Ace Magashule.
So what are the conditions of him coming?
No, leave it to me and him. We will announce when those discussions are over. I'm talking to a lot of very senior people. Very.
Do you mind sharing other names?
No, I couldn't. I can't. I have to first conclude the discussions. We're likely to shock a lot of people at the FNB Stadium with the kind and caliber of people who will be in attendance at that rally of the EFF.
So will you unveil senior leaders who are joining the EFF?
Absolutely. We don't unveil. We don't. People in the EFF join at their branches and they announce themselves as members. We don't do press conferences. No, there's no special member of anything of that sort. You join, you belong to a branch. If there's a skill you have, we'll use that skill. We don't have a cadre deployment policy in the EFF. We assess people as they come and we utilize them where they can best contribute to both the growth of the organization and government.
These are the people who were on the other side of the fence, especially when you were fighting former President Jacob Zuma, when the EFF...
They were with him.
Yes. The EFF was agitating for him to be removed, and he was removed. And now, these are the people that you are embracing. Is it part of the ANC strategy, the EFF strategy, to see a gap within the ANC, that there are these divisions, and then you take full advantage?
I don't know where... differences are permanent. I really trying to think which sphere of life do we have a permanent disagreement. There are no permanent enemies in politics. I had fundamental disagreements with President Zuma on how he ran the state, on how, and I raised this in the ANC. The problem is that the South African media, you don't keep archives. In the 2011 rally of the ANC, January 8 in Rustenburg, I took a platform there and I said, we have not elected a corrupt family to run South Africa, Mr. President. If you want to run this country, don't want to run this country, please tell us.
Yes.
We'll choose another leadership. I raised these matters with President Zuma, fundamentally disagreed with him internally in the ANC.
Yes.
To a point where Ayanda Dlodlo, when the next Monday, went to the NWC of the ANC and said I must be suspended for having expressed a view.
Yes.
And the meeting disagreed with her. So I disagreed with him and I got expelled. He eventually got removed as the president of South Africa. What else do I want from the guy? It's done. I must move to the next chapter of the revolution. And therefore, why is Mandela not being called a flip-flopper after the National Party took him to jail? After the National Party killed so many people? After de Klerk presided over Boipatong massacre. Mandela made de Klerk deputy president of this country. Tactical moves in order to arrive at a strategic objective. Mandela, because what he was doing was fitting the narrative of the white establishment, he was not called what I'm being called today. Mandela never had permanent disagreements, even with the apartheid that killed people. Killed, literally arrested him and other comrades, killed Chrisani. When Chris was killed, de Klerk was the president. Mandela went to make de Klerk his deputy president of South Africa. I must treat Zuma different from how Mandela treated the enemy. Zuma has never been my enemy. We disagreed, and we did not pretend in that disagreement. We did so openly, and matters have been resolved. We need to move on now.
Is he one of the people you're talking to, Zuma?
No. I said I can't tell you names. But don't rule him out. But I can't tell you names.
The NHI was passed by Parliament.
Yes.
I know that it does not really meet fully the 7 cardinal pillars of the EFF, but the EFF supports the NHI.
Yes.
Where is the money going to come from to fund the NHI?
Well, the money is there. Remember, we found the money in less than no time during COVID. And therefore, where there is a political will, there will always be a political way to resolve that matter. My biggest concern with the NHI is that you have to go to the health facility that is close to you in order to be a beneficiary of such a policy. And we know that most of our people have got no such health facilities next to them. And if they are not in a very better condition. So there is a political will. We've passed the first leg. It may not be as perfect as we would want to expect it to be. But once we pass the first leg, we will find the money within the state to finance this important policy that will address in the main the primary health care, which is what we're concerned about as the EFF.
Yeah. Another issue that is in the news right now is the issue of the BRICS summit.
Yes.
You've, in your previous interviews, you've said that Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, must be allowed to come to the country and he must not be arrested. Ever since there's been reaction, especially in the US, with the threat of AGOA and calls from the lawmakers, some of the lawmakers there to say the AGOA summit must not happen here in this country, and they're saying we are on the verge of being kicked out of AGOA, which will have serious consequences and result in job losses. Do you still hold the view that we can risk such a diplomatic fallout with the US over Putin?
My brother, for any political decision, there will be consequences. And we ought to be prepared for such political consequences. If we allow the US to dictate to us now on who can become our friend and who can become our friend, and who can visit South Africa and who can visit South Africa, then we must forego our sovereignty. Because then we should cease to be a so-called independent state and always ask the big brother whether we should allow this or not. So, and that's where I come from. President Putin must come here. He will find us at the airport. We'll receive him. I've seen that Minister Patel has left the country to go and explain South Africa's position in order to save AGOA. It's always good to do business with the people who have money. And with America and all of that. But that shouldn't take away our souls and our political independence. In the absence of AGOA, if they were to say they are excluding us from AGOA, we ought to find alternative markets. Russia is one of such markets that will be readily available to trade with us. But China in particular. And China, look at what it has done recently. Stopped taking a milli meal from the US and said, I'm going to take directly from South Africa. So we should always have plan B and say, if the Americans are going to come in a way they are coming, what is going to be our alternative? South Africa cannot, even under such threats of AGOA, not be thinking of what are the possible and alternative markets that can provide what we're benefiting from AGOA. So we shouldn't be imprisoned by America on the basis of AGOA and be unable to take a particular stand. And what is the stance we took? The stand we took as South Africa is we are not involved. We're not taking side. We are neutral. And therefore, we seek peace and we need to resolve this matter. And the EFF says that stand is not even enough. We should be with Russia openly. We should supply Russia with armaments if we have, and all of that. South Africa still insists on being neutral. You get punished even for being neutral. And we want to regret our position. South Africa didn't do anything. We want worse than what South Africa has done. Because whether you do it or you don't do it, they are coming for you. They are coming to punish you.
Do you think our relationship with Russia is more valuable than the relationship with the US?
It is. Because Russia doesn't interfere in our political sovereignty. Doesn't interfere in our internal political dynamics. It does not put any army base facing our direction, threatening the sovereignty of the whole region. So why would we want to value a relationship of imperialism over a revolutionary relationship we'll have with Russia?
The man who is currently acting president right now, Mashatile, I know we've spoken about Cyril Ramaphosa and how you won't work with him. Will you work with an ANC that is headed by Paul Mashatile?
Absolutely. He's a good brother. The good thing with Paul and what gives me comfort with him is that Stellenbosch doesn't like him. Paul, if he was to be honest, and you must put it there in one of your notes and ask him one day when you interview him, if he's honest, he will have to tell you that he went to ask that lady of the Oppenheimers, I forgot her name, is the one who gives TA money and these other people of the Action SA. He went to ask for the ANC money from that lady. And she said, no, I can't give the ANC money. I don't like the ANC. I like Cyril. And my liking of Cyril should never be confused to be meaning I like the ANC. So even when the ANC was deep in crisis and in trouble and Paul tried to reach out to the establishment, they rejected him. And the establishment, in its comfort, is able to speak openly that they don't trust the man. And therefore, anything that unsettled the establishment is worth taking a risk. Politics is a risk. And you can't be scared to take risk because that will not make you a politician.
So will that be one of the demands to say? No,
we can't demand that put so and so as a president. We can't. Of the ANC, we can't. We will demand that we can't work with this one and we'll put our reasons. And if they insist, they must count us out. If they say, okay, we hear you, we'll come up with a different candidate, we'll listen to them.
Is Cyril the only candidate you want to work in the ANC?
There are many others. I mean, why would I work with Pravin? There's sort of many others. There are just a lot more people that are captured by the Oppenheimers and the Ruperts. And those people cease to think and put our interest aside when it comes to saving the interest of those guys. So there are certain people I would not even try to work with.
How different are you from an ANC politician? If a voter was to say, now I'm making a decision, I don't want to vote for the ANC because of allegations of corruption and maybe someone believes what you are saying, that they are captured by the Oppenheimers. But how different are you from the leaders of the ANC? You yourself, you have had allegations of corruption against you that did not proceed in court. You've had allegations against you on VBS and things like that. So how different are you from an ANC politician? Why should the public trust you?
I'm not in the pocket of the white establishment, formed a political party without white money, without more white influence, a completely independent politician who's not being controlled and captured by anyone, a corrupt-free politician who has got no allegations of corruption against him, including the ones you are talking about. I get arrested for corruption because someone wants to settle a political score with me and say, you got a tender in government. You were there, Shoba. You wrote many other things about me at the time. But you never asked the question, in government, who did he corrupt? Who gave him a tender? And on which condition? That maybe Julius threatened this person, I'll fire you, I'll promote you, or I will give you some money. But there must be someone in government that this guy corrupted. Why was that person not charged alongside me? I've never worked for government. Not once. And then I don't even know how the systems of government work when it comes to tenders. I heard, and it's you who should be going to clear my name because the court has failed, to take that court file and go witness after witness statements. You don't have to talk to them. All adjudication committee, tender committee, this and that. When I got the file, it was so interesting because I went one by one. The statement, all those people without exception said, they were asked a question, do you know Julius Malema? They said yes. How do you know him? On TV. Okay, in relation to this tender, we only saw on TV that he was involved with this company. No boss of ours told us. No one told us. He never came to talk to us. Because I disagree with you, you say you charge me with corruption. And the court says, but you're not ready for trial. He has been coming here. You guys, every time he comes here, you say you're not ready for trial. That time I'm fighting the president of the country. The charges get dropped. The president of the country gets removed. The new president comes in. I'm fighting that president. Till today, they have the power to reinstate the charges. Why are they not reinstating them, Shop? Why do you speak like I've got the power to reinstate the charges? I'm here. I'm a civilian in opposition. They've got all the reasons to come for me. I said Cyril is corrupt. He puts money under the mattresses. I exposed him and I fought him about that. Why can't they go back and say, charge him because I'm corrupt? Why can't they charge me? Because that corruption is not there. And that's what the voter should look at. That he doesn't control who gets charged, who doesn't get charged. If he's corrupt, the way he has fought with government, why can't the same government charge this guy if he's corrupt? I made a mistake of SARS as a child. But I never had a meeting with myself and said, I'm going to defraud SARS. I knew nothing about those things. I came from a family where no one meets a tax bracket. I come from a family where tax has never been discussed. I got employed by the ANC, which was paying payee. And in my naive point, I thought that's sufficient. Until I was told, no, this is how much you are owing us of the SARS. I have no problem. I owed them. But the way they came for me is not how SARS must do things. SARS was supposed to come with corrective measures first and make me compliant. And when I refuse to be compliant, only then pounce on me. You don't on first instant just go for a poor boy who comes from a poor background. I'm not saying SARS was wrong in terms of me owing them. They put all the cents together, every cent. And one of the things they said to me, which I had to account for, was a girl I used to date when I was in Kosas who deposited 3,000 rand in my account. They said, why was this person? That's how petty they were with me. Why? I could see the approach is find anything. And I said, that's fine. I'll pay. In the statement I released, when I settled with SARS, I said, everyone must pay their taxes. I now know better. And that SARS, I'm pleading with you, before you go for people, check their background, check their education, and help them to understand tax and be compliant. Do not be used as a political tool. If I was brought to immediately when I get a job, which is what SARS must do. When people get employed, they must go to them and say, yes, we've got a new customer now. Please, these are the following things you need to do to educate our people. So if I was corrupt, I would have taken a conscious decision that I'm going to rob SARS. I've never had a meeting with myself to take that decision. So I'm not corrupt. I've never robbed SARS any money. Whatever the mistake I did out of ignorance, I complied with. There's nothing on VBS. And you're forcing it because the CFO, who's a white person, confessed to the crimes of VBS and then did a statement to get a less sentence. The man is saving. The man of the monies of the VBS, the controller of the monies of the VBS. Shoba, the man has never said Malema. The man has never said the EFF or Shivambo or anything in the incriminating statement. As we speak today, there are people who are standing trial for VBS monies. The EFF is not there. The leadership of the EFF is not there. The people who put money in the VBS took it from the municipalities into the VBS and then got percentage out of that. So if you say we got money from the VBS, what did the VBS get from us in return? For the ANC politicians, they took the municipality money, went to put it in VBS, and then got a percentage out of it for that job, corrupt job they've done. What did the EFF do to deserve getting money or corrupt money from the VBS? What was in for the VBS if it gives money to the EFF? Why is such questions not being asked? No, Floyd's brother does a business with a company that owns the VBS. They pay each other at that level. And then we must all be entangled in that. Because Praveen, when he was shown the report of VBS, got excited by the Shibambo Senate and thought, I've got them. But till today, which is what a neutral media, you guys, should be saying, we hear their corruption with VBS. We hear his corruption with On Point. You've got the power. Why are you not prosecuting him if he's corrupt? Why? So I can't charge myself. I've always made myself available to the state. When they want me, I always go. And now I'm arrested to show that they want everything on me. They say I've shot a gun in an EFF rally, and then they arrest me on that. When you have time, go and you will know you were there. You come from the same background I come from. In every political gathering, I'm not saying I shot a gun or I did not shoot a gun. At the grave of Christian, in the presence of the highest form of leadership in the country at the time, gun were shot there. Shot. In every political gathering, including when we were burying Winnie Mandela, gun were shots there. But there was shooting of guns there. Not a single person got arrested.
But was it prominent leaders who were shooting guns there?
Oh, does the law work like that?
No, I'm just asking.
No, but which law? Which law?
I'm asking if it's people that you can easily recognize who are shooting.
No, there are South Africans who can be easily recognized. That's how the law works. The law doesn't work on the basis of who's shooting the gun. It works on, can we trace this person? Is he a South African? And for as long as the person is traceable, the law works like that. And therefore, that's why your question is more dangerous. The law must not have eyes. Lady Justice must be blind.
Yeah.
Yes. So it is used like that because find anything on him. Why? Because we politically disagree. Politics must never be settled like that.
It's June 16 on Friday.
Yeah.
Can you just please tell us what is the meaning of June 16 today?
June 16 confirms that the revolution is an activity of the youth. That without the youth, we are bound to fail. And that's what the youth must appreciate. If you look at the struggle of South Africa since the formation of the Youth League, 1945, adoption of Program of Action, radicalized the ANC in 1949. 45, adoption of the Program of Action, forced into the ANC in 1949. The ANC become radicalized, leads to the 1955 Freedom Charter. The People's Charter gets adopted because of the initiatives of the youth. Then that youth get arrested in the 60s and all of that. Then the youth come back again in 1976. And then they fight for the freedom of all. And then they get pursued and pursued. They leave the country, they go underground, they go into exile. Then they go into a political lull. COSAS get formed in 1982, radicalized the UDF in 1983. No, COSAS get formed in 1979, affiliates to the UDF in 1983, radicalizes the UDF, but it's not what this country needs. Then it leads to the formation of the South African Youth Congress, 85-86. The youth have always been at that center. And when we are confronted by these challenges now, the question should be, where is the youth? Why is the youth acting like he's scared? Because the youth has never been scared. The youth has always led from the front. So 1976, June 16, which we're celebrating on Friday, serves as a reminder that the youth of South Africa do not be apathetic. This is yours. And without you, they will steal with impunity. They will kill with impunity. They will even deny you jobs through collapse of state interventions because you have abdicated your responsibility into the hands of the elders who make plans for 30, 40 years, 50 years, knowing very well they won't be there. So take charge. That's what the youth are called upon to do on the 16th of June. It should serve as a point of reawakening the conscience and the consciousness of the youth that day, and not be used as just a drinking day and wearing a school uniform without even having a meaning to what that day is supposed to be. So for me and for the EFF, that's what June 16th is about. It's not a social activity day. It's not a festival day. It's a Soweto uprising, which plays a very important role in the conscientization of our youth and society in general.
Thank you so much, Mr. Malema, for joining us, and all the best with preparations for your birthday party.
Thank you. Siyabonga.
Well, that's all the time we have on the Sunday Times Politics Weekly this week. And we have our special guests to thank, leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters, Julius Malema, as well as Sunday Times Politics Editor, Sibongakonke Shoba. I'm Mike Siluma. Until next time, do stay safe, stay blessed, and let's do good for our country.